I want to talk about the philosophy of maxing. Now, being 28 years old, maxing is not something I actually instinctively knew about and had to find out via TikTok and other apps over the last months and years. But I am fairly well acquainted with maxing, and I think I understand what it means. Looks maxing, gesture maxing, status maxing, fat maxing, skinny maxing, God knows what else maxing. TikTok maxing, what I'm doing right now. Anyway, the thought that I want to explore today is something that got triggered from when I heard someone say gesture maxing. Gesture maxing. And I thought, wow, gesture maxing is quite an odd reference, because a jester was something in like Elizabethan times or whatever, hundreds of years ago, where one person was up in front of everyone else to entertain and validate his existence by entertaining and making a fool of himself in front of the court, which then allowed him to live in the palace or whatever with the king and the royal family. And it's the same concept as today. Jester maxing is the conscious effort of humiliating and deprecating oneself in front of a group of friends or strangers to validate yourself and get a laugh out of people so that you get something in return, namely social validation, money, drinks, food, whatever it is. That's what someone is doing it for. Basically in pursuit of their ego or survival. Anyway, I use gesture maxing as an example of something that is incredibly complex that has been now dressed up in a word that everyone can understand straight away, and the protection of the word becomes a shield. If someone is gesture maxing, they can openly say now, I'm gesture maxing. What are you talking about, bro? And so no one can critique them or feel like they can critique them because they've openly disarmed you by saying, I'm consciously gesture maxing. I'm consciously maxing right now. Or looks maxing. Someone might previously have been called a narcissist or vain or arrogant or whatever because they're so obsessed with their own features, their own looks. They are looks maxing now. And looks maxing has been a normalized concept. Looks maxing is the optimization of one's looks. What are you talking about, man? Of course I'm looks maxing. Aren't you looks maxing? And so the meta of this is crazy, because my nephew, who's 11 or 12 years old, probably knows more about maxing than I do. And that's kind of crazy that he understands the concepts of meta, like understanding the meta cognition of the act itself, and then he knows the name for the act, and that is like a box for every optimization ritual, everything that we do. This new generation has worked out a way of putting it into a lexicon of words that then categorize and make sense of this world of constant optimization and consumption, which I find fascinating. And I really do genuinely believe this is a new aspect of our post-capitalist philosophy, a way of us finding meaning and finding connection and community in every aspect of our culture, which is so intent on consumption, production, and optimization of everything. And the scary thing is that along with everything in this world, it can be taken to an extreme. One extreme of not doing enough and another extreme of doing too much. And so people are going to be now intent on maxing, because maxing is the goal. It's not self-improvement, it's status maxing, it's looks maxing. And so when does it end? When does the max end? Does the max end when you've had body changes or facial changes, or I don't know, you go to the gym every day, twice a day? Is that when body maxing or muscle maxing ends? So yeah, lots more to think about. Let me know what you think. Those are just my 2 cents. Cheers. I'm gonna go max.